Hello everyone, my name is Alberto and welcome back to my channel. The idea behind this video is I want to create a sort of series about the basics of fashion. Like in every industry, if you're not part of it, usually you don't know the inner workings of it. So I thought, since as consumers this affects all of us, that it would be interesting and useful to share a little bit of the basics of making clothes and sewing and how fashion behind the scenes works. As I mentioned, I want to start from the very basics. In this case, I want to start from fabric. Fabric is the literal foundation of clothing, because without fabric, it's very hard to make clothing. Now, what is fabric? Fabric is the transformation of a fiber into a tangible piece of cloth. So fibers come from different sources. The main ones are either natural fibers or man-made fibers. Natural fibers come mostly from plants, but also from animals and animal products, while man-made fibers are synthetic. They're made in a lab and it's a mixture of chemicals that produces a fiber. The most common natural fibers are, for example, cotton. Cotton comes from the cotton plant. The bud of the flower creates the fiber, and then it's harvested, spun into a yarn, and that yarn is what's used to make the fabric. Cotton is a very versatile fabric that's used in so many different applications. Think of a t-shirt or a pair of jeans. Denim is cotton. Other natural fabrics might be hemp or linen made from those plants. You also have silk. Silk is harvested from the silkworm cocoon. Then you have wool and wool-like fibers, meaning fibers that still come from animal fur, just not the sheep. So for example, alpaca. And lastly, there are some odd fibers that recently had some sort of a renaissance, like for example the milk cotton. Milk cotton is a fiber made from casein. Casein is the protein in milk. From the protein they manage to spin a thread, and from that they get an actual fiber. So a fiber made from milk. Natural fibers have great characteristics. They're breathable, they're easy to dye. We never think about it, but the fibers come in their natural color, which is usually a sort of off-white, beigey color. To get all the ones we want, we have to dye them. And natural fibers take dye very well. Natural fibers are also, as the name implies, natural. So they are a little better for the environment. It's sort of a mistake to think that a natural fiber is 100% completely biodegradable. Will it biodegrade? Yes, of course. But it's not like I can plant a t-shirt and in a week it's gonna be gone. It still takes a long time. So obviously it is better for the environment. We don't have the microplastics and the waste, but there's still chemicals involved in the dyeing process, so it's not exactly eco-friendly either. Although obviously it's still so much better than the synthetic counterpart. Synthetic fabrics are man-made. They're made from chemicals. The most famous ones are probably nylon, polyester, lycra, neoprene, fake leather, fake fur. All of those fabrics are man-made. Although usually we think natural fibers must be better, it has to be said that synthetic fabric has a lot of properties. Synthetic fibers usually were created to fill a need. So, for example, nylon, which is a very lightweight fabric but still strong, was created to use instead of silk, for example in parachutes. Other times, like in neoprene's case, it was created for a very specific use. Neoprene is not exactly a fabric, meaning it's not just threads spun together. Neoprene is a very thin sheet of foam that then it's covered with two fabric sheets on either side, and that creates the final product. Neoprene is made to insulate because its primary use is, for example, to make diving suits. It needs to protect our body from cold temperatures. That's not really achievable with a natural fabric. If we want to get something that's waterproof, it's gonna be made out of synthetic materials because natural fabrics are not waterproof. So there's a good and bad in every fiber. We cannot really think that synthetic is bad and natural is good. That's not necessarily the case. If you have to make a decision, it has to be on a case-by-case basis. Now, once you have the fiber, you have to transform that fiber and that yarn into an actual fabric. The two main ways are weaving and knitting. Woven fabrics are made with a loom, which is a very old instrument that are still used for crafts, they're projects for kids. You can even buy a big mechanical but still hand-operated loom, and then obviously there's the industrial versions. A woven fabric is usually quite strong. It's not stretchy and it's slightly stiffer compared to a knit. It's usually used for formal wear. If you think about shirts, jackets, dress pants, it's used for clothing that has to be quite durable, like for example jeans, denim. Based on the weaving used, you can also get patterns, like in denim you get the diagonal pattern, or you can get herringbone pattern. If you use different colored threads, you can get patterns like in tartan or tweed. Knitted fabrics use the same principle as hand knitting, where the same thread is intertwined with itself to create a sort of chainmail effect. What this does is it makes the fabric very stretchy, and it gives it a sort of bouncy, fluffy effect. This allows to create more comfortable pieces of clothing that dress a lot of different sizes with the same pattern. That's why if you think about sportswear, you get sizes like S, M, L, while in more formal clothes, you get very specific sizes. That's because a non-stretchy fabric requires you to use a more complicated and detailed pattern, while a stretchy one allows you to keep a simple pattern, like a square in the case of a t-shirt, and still allows you to dress different bodies. So in conclusion, depending on what you or the designer are gonna make, you will want to choose, first of all, the type of fabric, meaning a woven fabric or a knitted fabric, and then you're gonna think about the composition. As I was saying before, different fabrics have different pros and cons about them, and some just give a different visual effect. Some fabrics might be chosen especially because of their looks. So this was a very simplified description of different fabrics and fibers and where they come from. I hope this video was useful or interesting for you. Please let me know if there's something you might be interested in, because I'm gonna consider making a video about that. I really want to try and explain everything starting from the basics, so this is why I started from fabrics. But as the series progresses, I'm gonna explore some more complicated parts, let's say. So thank you for watching for now. Please consider subscribing and putting a like, it's a great help for me. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye!